Okay, so don't mind my appearance because I'm headed to the airport in a couple hours. But I haven't been feeling well the past couple of days because I usually get kind of sick before my period starts. I've been wanting to make this video, but I literally could not gain the energy to sit down and talk. But I wanted to talk about empathy. Let me put this down a little lower. The sheets are off, so yeah. I wanted to talk about empathy because I'm trying to look at myself. Don't want my lace either. I need to reinstall this wig. Anyway, I wanted to talk about empathy because I feel like like I was saying, I really want to talk about empathy because one of my goals for 2024, because I wanted my goals to be more meaningful than just very superficial surface level things. And so one of my goals is to stop being so empathetic. And I feel no, I know for a fact we have demonized the word empathy to the point where saying you're an empath is silly and cringe and you get looked at differently. So I don't go around saying I'm an empath. But I am for sure and this is why I want to be less of an empath in 2024, because it brings me a lot of anxiety. Because when I mean I'm an empath, I mean I feel the pain and suffering for people who don't even know me, for people I've never met, for people who I don't even know if they're in a certain circumstance or a certain scenario. I feel that pain and suffering, and I have a lot of future anxiety where I create different scenarios that could happen or maybe are happening or will happen, and I feel bad for that person I'm thinking of or that group of people or that country. And it's a weird scale because on one hand, being an empath is very admirable. It means you have some sort of feelings. I feel this is kind of a skewed memory and I don't remember a lot of it, but I remember when I was a little younger, 15, my mom told me that I didn't have empathy or sympathy or one of the two, and I just remember being I'm not gonna go too into that memory because again it's kind of skewed. I can't remember the context. But after that, I just remember being well, then what is empathy? Because the way I feel when thinking of other people's pain and suffering is unnatural. Other people don't when I talk to my boyfriend about this, he's well, why are you worried about that? You're not in that area, you're not in that demographic, it's not gonna affect you. And it's one of those things where it's you should definitely not be working yourself to the bone, because not working yourself to the bone, but mentally working yourself to the bone, because you are letting something, whether it's really severe or not, affect you when you are not the one affected, and you probably won't be affected. On one hand, it's it's not good for you mentally, but on the other hand, it's it shows that you have some sort of humanity or some sort of you're grounded in the world if you're able to be aware of other people's suffering. And I think the problem for me is that I can't do anything about it, which makes it even harder for me, because it's I feel so useless in the world when I know I cannot help people, or when I know I cannot help a situation or change it. And so I struggle a lot with it. And that's why one of my goals is to be less empathetic. And what I really mean is to kind of balance my empathy levels and really take a second to, and I just said before that it means you're grounded, but I kind of think a little bit of the opposite. I feel and this is where being an empath can get kind of cringy, because it does kind of make you feel you are otherworldly, that you are above the world in a way, you're looking down, because that's how I feel. It's I feel I am above certain situations. All I can do is look. I can't do anything about it. And that's what makes it so that's what makes it cringe. That's what makes it weird for people to say, because that's kind of what you're indicating. And I feel people know that, but they don't. I haven't heard anyone say it. I think that's why people get upset nowadays when people say oh, I'm an empath, because you're telling that person I am above you and I am just looking down at your situation. All I can do is feel for you. And it's a really sticky situation because that's true for a lot of us, whether we identify it as empathy or not. But I think for a lot of people, including me, it's just about leveling it. Again, I don't go around telling people, oh, I'm an empath. It really is a mental struggle I have, especially recently, because I feel like I kind of stopped being so involved in other people's lives. But yeah, now I'm like, why am I, it's like, okay, why am I crying for those other people? It's good that I'm crying for those other people, but why? Like, I don't know. It does make me feel a little bit egotistical. I wouldn't say narcissistic, very just not even egotistical. Maybe it is more narcissistic. I don't think I'm a narcissist, but I don't go around self-diagnosing myself. I mean, I literally just got diagnosed with ADHD, and for the longest, I swore I didn't have any type of neurodivergency because I don't like to self-diagnose. But I do feel like empathy is a strange thing, and sympathy is different. The difference I think between sympathy and empathy is that sympathy is for certain situations. Like, if your friend dog died, like, you have sympathy for them in that moment. Like, I feel for you, I'm so sorry. But empathy is like this prolonged thing for many people, I think, whether they say it or not. And I think that also might be where the cringe comes in, because I feel like a lot of people have sympathy for others, but they say it's empathy, but like, we know what empathy means. So for you saying, oh, I'm an empath, I'm so sorry about your situation, to me, I'm like, oh, so you're like looking down on me and, blah, blah, blah. But if I'm like, if I'm saying I have so much sympathy for you, that I think feels more welcoming to that person. Like, oh, like you feel for me in the situation, you're here with me. And I'm really curious as to why empathy has much more of a like distancing type of feel, because saying I'm sympathetic feels way different than saying I'm empathetic because of the different connotations around the word. And I think that's my problem, and I need to look more into that. I've been trying to like, I don't know how long it's been there. I've been trying to like not think too much about the stuff I want to record myself talking about so that I can actually like talk about it in front of the camera, because I have a bad habit of just talking to myself, and then when I get from the camera I'm like, kind of already worked that out in my head. But yeah, there is a vast difference between empathy and sympathy in social contexts, and I think it's very interesting, and I do want to look into it. I don't even know the textbook definition of empathy or sympathy. I probably should have Googled it, and I don't have my laptop in front of me, and I'm filming on my phone, so I can't even like Google it really quick. But yeah, I want to stop being sympathetic so I can have peace, because it really does bring me out a lot of unwarranted anxiety randomly, because I'll remember, like, I forget things really easily. So one minute I can be like really stressed over someone's situation, and then over the course of that day I forget, and then a couple more days I'll remember again. My mustache is literally, I want to wax it, so I'm like letting it grow, and it's like kind of crazy. It's been weeks. I haven't shaved it since my birthday. I don't even think I shaved it for my birthday. I think the last time I shaved it was like a couple days before New Year's. I didn't do anything to my face for my birthday. That was crazy. This is also my birthday hair, and she's still good, so definitely I'm just gonna reinstall her probably, or I'm just gonna take it off and put it back on for Valentine's Day. Sorry, it's very off topic. But yeah, I'm still working through this whole empathy thing, so I probably will come back on here in like a couple weeks or a couple of days to talk about it again. Because yeah. But yeah, I'm about to go to the airport in like 2 hours. I go back home. That'll probably be another video of me talking, because I started a new job and I started a new semester of school, and I'm like very nervous for the two. I have a lot of new things happening in my life, and that's also very anxiety inducing. It's like I'm not diagnosed with anxiety, because my anxiety comes in spurts. I only really have bad anxiety like 2 days out of the month. One day because it's when my period's about to start, I get really bad anxiety, and then another day just randomly because I'm stressed about something. But yeah, I'm about to go, and yeah, hopefully that conversation about empathy made sense. My sister's crying in the background. Hopefully that conversation about empathy makes sense. If not,